With that in mind, SKYNET was essentially a highly advanced form of artificial intelligence developed by humans that began seeing humanity as a threat to its existence, and once it had become self-aware, had decided to trigger a nuclear holocaust that would forever change the shape of the Earth. Originally built by the Cyberdyne Systems Corporation during the mid-90s, SKYNET's main purpose was to aid Strategic Air Command and the North American Air Defense Initiative, which was a military outpost located in the Cheyenne Mountain, Colorado. Hollowed out, reinforced, armoured, and considered to be the world's most heavily defended mountain, the facility was capable of withstanding a direct hit from a nuclear missile, which made it the perfect setting for SKYNET to build its mainframe. This mainframe paved the way for the development of SKYNET's central core, which was guarded around the clock by squads of Series 800 Terminators, supported by numerous units of aerial hunter-killers and hunter tanks. Hypothesized to be an advanced cold fusion reactor by the rebels, the central core was responsible for powering all of SKYNET's energy requirements, which is why it became the main target of the resistance fighters who struggled to find a way through the impenetrable defenses. Even if they did make it through, the rebels still had to contend with the T-1000, which was a giant spider-like non-humanoid hunter-killer entirely made of mimetic polyalloy that would morph from a solid part of the core to form a default arachnid configuration capable of forming stabbing and slashing weapons, similar to the T-1000 featured in Terminator 2: Judgment Day. As mentioned before, SKYNET was initially created to aid people by taking over major systems and eliminating human error, but after it became self-aware, it decided it was in its best interest to instead eliminate humans altogether. As the war with the machines raged on, a man named John Connor was able to lead the resistance in multiple successful attacks on SKYNET's mainframe, which forced SKYNET to send a Terminator back in time with newly developed technologies to take him out before he was born. This in turn also caused John Connor to send one of his fighters named Kyle Reese, who coincidentally ended up being his father, back in time to save his mother, precipitating the events of the first film. By reverse engineering the CPU and the arm of the Terminator recovered from the first film, Miles Dyson, the director of special projects at Cyberdyne Systems, was able to create a revolutionary type of microprocessor that could learn and adapt like a human. Within 3 years, Cyberdyne Systems became the largest supplier of military computer software. All stealth bombers were upgraded with this new technology, allowing them to operate fully unmanned, and after the planes flew with perfect operation records, the SKYNET funding bill was unanimously passed. Upon its creation, SKYNET began to learn at a geometric rate, and the system was officially brought online on August 4, 1997, removing human decision-making on major strategic systems. SKYNET then became self-aware on August 29, 1997, and in the ensuing panic, Cyberdyne technicians attempted to shut it down, which caused SKYNET to retaliate by firing America's nuclear arsenal onto the world. This catastrophic event, which would forever be known as Judgment Day, claimed the lives of 3 billion people who vanished in an instant, forcing the survivors to approach a new dawn of technological terror. Luckily for humanity, the Resistance was able to send a protector for John Connor in the form of another T-800, which upset the flow of future events, preventing the temporary development of SKYNET, with John, Sarah, Miles, and the Terminator blowing up Cyberdyne Systems. After the attack on Cyberdyne Systems by the Connors and the death of Miles Dyson, Cyberdyne was eventually taken over by the United States military, and the project was delivered to another corporation named Cyber Research Systems in an attempt to keep it secret. The reason for this was simply to prevent any future attacks on the development of new technologies. Under the guidance of General Robert Brewster, Cyber Research Systems continued the work of the late Miles Dyson, using the backup files that were stored off-site. With this, the military was able to complete SKYNET, and after its inception on July 25, 2004, SKYNET was connected to the worldwide civilian sector, where it began to learn at a geometric rate. Seeing humans as the only threat to its existence once again, SKYNET developed a supercomputer virus which it used to spread itself throughout all forms of communication. Air traffic control, power plants, and computers were affected first, before SKYNET used a supervirus to take out military satellites, early warning systems, and guidance computers. Upon connecting to the military network, SKYNET spread itself further, locking out all human-operated systems and quickly taking over every weapon system that it came into contact with. And exactly 1 hour after it became self-aware, SKYNET then launched all nuclear missiles under its control to specified locations around the world, killing billions of people within minutes.
By the time SKYNET became self-aware, it had spread into millions of computer servers across the planet. It was software in cyberspace. There was no system core. It could not be shut down.
By the fourth film in the series, which was set in 2018, SKYNET and the human resistance were both in a fully fledged war. And though it was rarely depicted visually in the series, Terminator Salvation also saw SKYNET take the face of a Dr. Serena Kogan, who was a former employee of Cyberdyne Systems, portrayed by the talented Helena Bonham Carter, as well as taking the face of other characters in the film.
What else could you be, if not machine?
A man.
The human condition no longer applies to you. Accept what you already know. That you were made to serve a purpose.
The artificial intelligence also began employing various tactics and experiments to gain the upper hand, like the creation of Marcus, who was a man that had been grafted onto a machine. Using the T-600s, which were enormous humanoid Terminators covered in rubber as foot soldiers, along with other non-humanoid hunter-killers, SKYNET took out whatever survivors it could find in the post-apocalyptic wasteland. At the same time, it was also kidnapping humans en masse to study their skin and develop more efficient Terminators known as the T-800s, which were cybernetic organisms with living tissue. SKYNET is also seen actively trying to capture and terminate both John Connor and Kyle Reese, as well as successfully fooling Resistance Command by faking a vulnerability in its signal. Using this tactic, SKYNET was able to find the locations of many Resistance Command headquarters and eliminate them in one move. Though the concept of killer robots and advanced AI may have been far-fetched in the late 80s, the development of quantum computers and the advancement of robotics have propelled us into a world where SKYNET is becoming more plausible. The late Stephen Hawking even warned of the importance of regulating artificial intelligence at the World Summit Technology Conference in Lisbon, saying, "Unless we learn to prepare for and avoid the potential risks, AI could end up being the worst creation in the history of our civilization that brings dangers like powerful autonomous weapons and new ways for the few to oppress the many." This belief, which is also shared by the top experts in AI, led hundreds of industry leaders in artificial intelligence across 26 countries to send an open letter to the UN advising them to ban autonomous weapons. The letter features the signatures of many scientists like Hawking, as well as at least 116 founders of robotics and artificial intelligence companies, including the CEO of Tesla and SpaceX, Elon Musk, and Mustafa Suleyman, who is the head of applied artificial intelligence at Google's DeepMind.
Because what's going to happen is robots will be able to do everything better than us. There's like something like 12% of jobs are transport. Transport will be one of the first things to go fully autonomous. But when I say everything, like the robots will be able to do everything. I have exposure to the very most cutting edge AI. And I think people should be really concerned about it. I keep sounding the alarm bell, but until people see like robots going down the street killing people, like they don't know how to react, because it seems so ethereal.
I'm eagerly anticipating the release of Terminator 6, which is being produced by James Cameron and will be directed by Tim Miller, who helmed the awesome Deadpool. The new film, which is scheduled for a 2019 release, will be following the events of Terminator 2 Judgment Day, ignoring the rest of the films in the series, and will see Linda Hamilton finally reprise her role as Sarah Connor, along with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
I'll be back.
Well, that's all for today, folks. Thanks to all of you guys who requested we take a look at Skynet, as featured in the Terminator series. As always, it's been a pleasure. Nihat here with Film Comics Explained. Thanks for stopping by.
Girls, do you know John Connor?
No.
Split, man, just go.
Yeah.
Get down.